Hi, everybody. It's Ed. Markets have closed, so I wanted to talk about real quick. There's been a lot of discussion in a couple of the rooms, especially Basecamp Trading Room, on how to color these basically these price bars, particular various different colors depending on different alert conditions. And I wanted to show you guys how to do that. I've got some studies on here. I've got Ishimoku Cloud. I got a 34 wave, which is 3 moving averages, and I've got a zigzag study on here, and I'll put that there. So zigzag study tends to kind of keep you in trend. When you're making like higher lows, well, there's a higher low I didn't mark, but when you're making higher lows, you're in an uptrend. When you're making lower highs, you're usually in a downtrend. Anything else is, pretty much in the middle. So let's go through this real quick. I'll enlarge this a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let me unhide the cloud. So you've got your Ishimoku cloud right here. You've got, and I put some highlights there so I could tell, like, span A, span B, that sort of thing. You've got, I'm going to move that a little bit. There, that's fine. I've got a 34 wave, just a 34 moving average, and there's that right there. Now, the idea of the 34 moving average is the wave is you don't want to trade in the wave here. You don't want to trade in the wave. You don't want to trade in the cloud. That sort of thing. You want to wait. One of the setups is that you want to wait for, say, for example, a breakout trade. Okay, so what you want to do is color those bars so you can have a real quick visual indication of, like red be short, green be long, yellow kind of stay out and wait. Okay, so what I did was I went ahead and put this together. I've got 4 color bars based on alert condition, and that's this study right here. That's on Sierra. Real simple. This is real simple to do, and let me pull this up real fast. There's a couple of settings on here that you want to reset, that you want to make sure that are set correctly. Number 1 is output when condition true. You want to use the input data. You do not want to use 1.0. You just want to use the input data, unless you've got a special condition where you're checking something. Using input data does 2 different things. Number 1, it'll either output the actual input data, the actual price, or it'll output as 0. And what that's handy for is checking whether that's greater than 0 or 0. If it's greater than 0, then the condition's true, and you've got access to whatever price that might be. So if you're looking for the price, it serves a dual purpose instead of just a 1 or a 0 if it's true or false. Number 2, you want to set your input data to last, and that's it. Your colors, your color bar, you want to change your color bar to whatever you want. Okay, for example, I've got this one. This one says hollow, but what it actually does is it just colors it dark because I've got a dark background. If it was white, you could color a white background. And basically what happens is anything that meets that condition is basically, it's black. Okay. On a Renko, I couldn't, I didn't see a way to do that, to make those color bars, or to make the bars hollow. You've got basically Renko bricks with wicks, but you don't have anything that's basically hollow. So anyway, I just did that just to I didn't want to see them, and that's also for testing to make sure that I got my conditions right. So it blanks out all the bars for me. Okay, so now I've got all my bars, and so now I can have I can start building my conditions. For example, here's a buy. Okay, so the buy condition is same, input data last, draw stopper, blah, 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 output when condition true, use input data, okay? For a buy, I want to use a green bar, right? Okay, so I've got a green bar there, and I'll uncheck that. And here's the condition. It's interesting. And I will note, all you need to do is know ID8, which is the 34 wave, and ID9, which is basically the cloud. Okay. So what we want to do, and let's read this thing. So here's your AND condition. So what you want to do is when the close is greater than, basically the last price, is greater than ID8 SG1, which is ID8 SG1 is the high, that moving average high that of this guy. When it's greater than this guy, you don't want to remember, you don't want to take it in the cloud. If it's greater than this guy and it's greater than the max of IG9, the Senku span, okay? The Senku span is composed of what? A and B, right? Well, the thing is that A and B can be above or below depending on where the cloud is. So what you want to do for a buy, you want to say the max, basically the greater of these SG1 and SG2, you want to take the maximum of that. So that would always be the top of the cloud, okay? Regardless of where it's flipped. So, and the reason why is I'll show you right back here. See where that would be the Senku span A, but that's if you took that, it would be reversed. Okay, so see where the bottom of that is and the top of that is. That's why we use that max condition. Okay, so basically the max of those, and you're basically if you're above the cloud and you're above the top of that high on the 34 EMA, change that to the color bar to green. Okay, and you can see that right here. Here it is. So you've broken above the cloud, you're above the 34 EMA, and so you get a basically just a real simple buy condition. You're looking at, see, you've got a higher low and a higher low, so you're in an uptrend. You still got a higher low, so you're in an uptrend. Now, let's go back and look at the sell. Okay, the sell is exactly the same. You've got your last, you've got use input data here. That's marked as a sell. Your subgraph, your color bar is red. Okay, so you want to make that a red color bar to say it's a sell. Now, here it is. Here's the condition. So you want to say the close of the bar is less than ID8 SG3. ID8 SG3 happens to be this guy here, which is the low of that 34. So you want to make sure that the price it closes below that 34, and you want the minimum of that Senku span or the cloud, the minimum of the cloud. So you want that lesser value. So you want price action to be below that line right there, which is the low, and you want it below there, right? The bottom of the cloud, and that would be your sell condition. Okay, so when I unhide that, you can see, poof, that we've got. See, it's below, so yeah, we've got a sell condition here, and then we've got sell condition. We've got those black bars basically are neutral, and those green bars are basically okay. You got to buy, you got to neutral, you got to sell. Well, those neutral bars, you know, if it's not a buy and it's not a sell, it's a neutral or no man's land or however you want to call that. So how do we do that? Ooh, they're black. Wow, let's change that. So I've got a neutral color, and the neutral color is the same. It's input data last, use input data. The subgraph is going to be, or the color bar is going to be a yellow, which basically means caution, don't trade it, don't mess with it. Okay. Now this is the simplest. Absolutely, I was going through all this logic and I was thinking, you know, there's an easier way to do this. So, and I'll show you that. Let me move this out a little bit. So here's your neutral. So what you're saying, and what I'm saying is, down to the essence of it, if it's not on a buy, if it's not a sell, it's a neutral, right? So here we go. ID1 SG1 is 0, okay? So if it's output 0, it's false. It's not a buy. ID1 SG2, sorry, that should be ID2 SG1. SG1. So that would be a neutral. If ID1 SG1 is 0 and ID2 SG1 is 0, then we should have a neutral. So what happens? Let's see. Okay, here we go. So what has happened? Okay, so we've got all these neutral bars here. We've got a neutral here because it basically touched the cloud. We're in the cloud here, so you don't want to trade. We're below the cloud and we're below the 34. You want to sell it. Here's a neutral here because it closed inside the cloud. You might or might not want to get out at that particular point. You might want to wait till it closes, say for example, above the cloud or above the 34 EMA. And here's another sell. You've got a target. You know, if your target was down here, then you know you're good to go. Neutral bars because you're starting to get into that cloud, or sorry, into the 34 EMA. You're not below it anymore. So because it closed there, so you're not below the cloud anymore, or you're not below the 34 EMA. So all these would be neutral bars. Don't trade, no man's land. Here now you've got a 30. You're above the 34 high, and you're above the cloud. Here's a buy. Okay, so you see that buy, pull back, buy. Here's a caution here. It's starting to pull back into this zone. Okay, you got to make a decision. Do I want to get out? Do I want to scale in or out? Right there. Okay, but at least the color bars tell you, okay, this is what's going to happen here. Okay, and now here's, you know, right there, you're still above the cloud, okay, but you're in a pullback condition, so maybe you have to use something else to say, you know, get out. Say for example, you know, two or three bars in a row, or however you want to do that. Now let's take a look at how this changes. Say I go to a line Renko 4 bar. So my line Renko 4 bar is, you know, it's starting to get a little bit different. You still have that, but it doesn't get you in. It gets you in at what? 53.92. Earlier, where did that get you in? That got you in down here at 53.91. Same, you know, you're basically looking at the same thing. Now, if I change this to a Flex Renko, let's go to, what was that? What was that setting? I think it was 2510. I think they were talking about using in the room. Well, this was a 201. You can set that for different things, but you can see where it tells you don't trade here, no man's land, don't trade here. Here's a long position, comes back. You know, you could trade to a target up here, no man's land, trading. Then you go in at 54.13, which I think was a little late. Yeah, it was a little bit late for that. So you could set this thing for basically anything you want. Say a 420, which would have gotten you in at 53.89. So it doesn't look like you're making a whole lot of difference when you get in, based on the Flex Renko settings. There's a 10.7. Ha ha ha. There, it wouldn't have got you in. Got you in at 54.06, which was quite a bit later. So different Renko settings will do different things. There's a 5-tick reversal bar. There's your close right there at 53.92. So you can see where, and you can instantly, now that you've got this encoded, you can instantly see what what kind of changes this makes, depending on your Flex Renko setting. So just by coding these real simple indicators, zigzag, and you've got your Shimoku right there. You've got your what I was going to do is I was going to turn that off because I don't need that anymore. There. So that makes it a little bit cleaner. So you turn the tags off here, it's a little less distracting. Okay. So I got a 5-tick reversal. I can change that. I could change that to, you know, like a 10-tick or something, or 8-tick, or however you want to do that. There's an 8-tick reversal. Get you in, you know, you're in the cloud here. I kind of like the Renko bars personally, or the inverse flex Renko bars. The inverse flex Renko bars are, let's see, 4, 2, 8, I think that was. Okay, but I can play with that. Oh, there you go. So that got you in at 5289. So it's right around the same. So you can play with these things, and you can change these conditions to basically anything you want to. Base these on anything. So I hope this has given you guys a kind of a head start on how to change those color bars. You can change that, say for example, based on a MACD. You can change that based on, you know, like a moving average or 2 moving averages or whatever, like a 34 and a 50. I think you're looking at a 34 EMA and 50 SMA. I don't think I've got a 50 SMA on here. I don't. Let me change this to a. Let me think here. I'll just put an SMA on there real fast. So moving average, simple moving average, and we're looking at a 50. You know, make that pink or something. And there's a 50. Okay, so now you got a 50 smooth moving average on there. Okay, so you might want to say, don't take this until it's above that, and it's above that 50 smooth moving average. So okay, well, let's do that real fast. Okay, so and see if that makes a difference. So my buy condition, in fact, let's see, that was a 50 smooth moving average, wasn't it, that Gary was using? So let's use that. That's a double exponential, I think. That's a 50. Double exponential, let's make that there. Okay, so we don't want to take any longs below that smooth moving average, that double exponential 50. And I'll just make that a little bit bigger. Okay, so that moving average ID6. Okay, so let me change that. So if it's a buy, you want to say this is above that, that's above that, and close is greater than, what was that? ID6, SG1. ID6.SG1. Okay, so that should work a little better. Let's see what happens. Let's see how that changes it. So you've got that. So you don't want to initiate. You wouldn't want to initiate a trade here, but you want to do it here. You don't want to initiate here. So let's change that, and I'll change this right here. I'm just going to cheat here, and I'll copy that. On a cell, I want to say there, close below cells. So I don't want to sell it until it closes below that. Yes, I did that correctly. Okay, so you don't want to sell it until it's below all this stuff and it's below the cloud, blah, blah, blah. So you're basically getting some confirmations. There's your 50 double EMA. You can change that. You know, you could change that to a 50 smooth or whatever. Okay. So anyway, that's it. Hope that helps. If you want this thing, you know, I just threw this little chart together. You know, not a big deal. You could follow along, or email me at ecarp@lsisoft.net, and I'll be happy to just ship this thing off to you. So have a great day, guys.